It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine?
Would you be mine?
Could you be mine?
Could you be mine?
It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you.
And you do now, because there are 65 million Americans today that are just cheering. It's almost as monumental as the 2016 elections. Mueller took the chicken shit way out and left it up to Barr so that the Democrats could squabble over it, because people, you have to remember, there's only two parties. And if one party dies, what do we have left? We have Republicans, and then constitutionalists, and libertarian. I say it's a great day for the Democrat Party to die. How about you? All those in favor, raise your hand and swear to uphold the Constitution against foreign invaders and invaders in our own country, which clearly the Democrats are. Let's get a little look at the headlines today. We've got Mueller finds no Trump-Russia conspiracy, but doesn't exonerate president of obstruction. Meanwhile, he's getting on a plane and getting the fuck out of Dodge, because he knows when things start rolling downhill and Trump figures out this second leg of things, there's people going to jail. He doesn't want to be one of them. Nancy Pelosi still crying in her beer. Well, actually, her Chivas Regal. She's cost taxpayers, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of what, $168,000 every time she gets on one of our planes for a little booze party. Okay. Jerry Nadler. Now, we all know who House Judiciary Chair Jerry Nadler is by now. If you paid attention, you know who he is. He's the one that likes those Brazilian underage hookers. Okay, and go back and think about when Trump signed executive order in January, his first year, saying that anybody involved in child sex trafficking and all of that shit was going to lose their money. Well, Jerry's on that list. I say we take Jerry down at the fucking kneecaps. Then we have, let's see what else they got. Special counsel, blah, blah, blah. George Conway. Oh, Kellyanne Conway, please, honey. You can do better than that. Put the man on a treadmill. Put him on the fucking Atkins diet. Put him in a mental institution. You deserve to be happy at home. A house divided cannot stand long. Remember that. It was great to see all the people in New York there that are Trump supporters hold a nice little rally and say some things. I'll throw it in the video here. It was great. Those guys were laying it out. Comey sends out this really strange picture of him standing in a forest. All I can think is, which tree do you want to hang from, motherfucker? Because you definitely deserve to do that. And so does your former president and pal. This all leads right up to Obama's front doorstep. And hopefully we'll see Pimp Boy doing some time in Gitmo federal prison. I can think of some prisoners that would really like those pretty little lips of his. Hey, Obama, we're coming for you. Hillary probably won't see any jail time because she's too fucking old and stupid. She's been slippery too long. She's like an old dead fish, you know, it gets that slime on it. That's Hillary Clinton. Okay, and then they go back to, Rubio. Here's one. Okay, Rubio's one of those little cockroaches. He was sucking Pimp Dick Obama's ass long before he ran for president. He's a cockroach. And anybody who puts his trust in Rubio, you're putting your trust in the wrong kind of man. He's a fucking insider. He's a fucking piece of shit. And it wouldn't hurt for him to have a lobotomy, because he is definitely not what America needs. I see Kristen Gillibrand is out there running on a ticket of Trump, a coward. Who's a coward? 5 years ago, that bitch would have sucked Trump's dick for $1. Now she's out there running her lips about Trump. She already took Hillary Clinton's position and probably had to give a blowjob to Bill Clinton to get it. So there's a fucking loser for you. Adam Shitstain, you're going to get your justice desserts, buddy, because we know about the hotel deal and beating up your boyfriend. Yeah, you little fucking queer, we know about that. Let's see, Omar. She speaks at CARE. Why is CARE even allowed in the United States? They are a terrorist group. They support terrorism. And this fucking bitch cuts off her clip, marries her brother, and then runs for Congress and gets it. She's from one of the biggest districts of ISIS supporters and jihadists that have left America to go and become a fucking terrorist. The bitch needs gone. I don't care how you get rid of her. Put her on a plane, put her on a fucking train, but get her out of the fucking United States. Booger Eater, he doesn't know what he's doing. Booger Eater, you can find out about him. He's dating some Hollywood actress, but you know what? The guy's as queer as a $3 fucking bill. We all know it. Besides, he hates women. Why would he date women when he hates women? Look back on how he treated Homeland Security. Kristen, my God, I never seen any man ever attack a woman like that. Besides, Representative Cohen, there's another dirty dog in the Democrat Party. Yeah, he went after Star Parker, the colored gal that was speaking up for the heartbeat bill. He tried to get her. He absolutely called her every name in the book and then wanted her to apologize to him. You know what I'd have told him? Go sit on a fork and twist, you fucking guru son of a bitch. The only one that thinks you're important is yourself. That's Representative Cohen. Beto O'Rourke, he's about as intelligent as burnt toast. He's just trying to be like Pimp Obama. Say all the right things, do all the right things, but I still can't figure out what he's fucking running on. Can you? Oh, Osario, she's all bummed out that she's getting all this attention paid to her. Well, OSO, OCO, whatever the fuck you want to call your little tortilla ass. As soon as your ass spreads out like a fucking tortilla, nobody's going to give a shit about you, you little one-term fucking cunt. I guess that brings it up in what I want. I'm sorry. I get pissed off over this shit because we have spent 2 years and $30 million on this fucking boondoggle by the Democrats. And every time Trump tries to drain the swamp just a little bit more, they come up with some other bullshit. Now they're already coming up with, well, he didn't exonerate him. Well, he didn't convict him either, did he? He didn't file charges, did he? And you know the one thing we need to do now? We need to get some voter ID laws in place. We need thumbprints. Venezuela does thumbprints. Did you know that? You don't get to vote unless your print is on file and they know who you are. Sounds like a winner to me. I don't know what Venezuela did that they ended up with the worst fucking people that they could ever imagine in office. Probably like what the Democrats do. They fucking cheat. They crook or hook. That should be the Democrats' main logo across all their faces. From Alley Cat Kamala Harris all the way to Bernie Sanders, who should be locked up in a fucking nut house. Good luck in 2020, guys, because we're going to put this shit to an end. We're going to get some real voter ID laws in this country, and we're going to require that if you are not a legal U.S.-born or U.S. naturalized citizen, you don't get a fucking say. And you know how we do the border thing? Stop giving aid. No more free shit for anybody who isn't a fucking natural-born citizen or a naturalized citizen. You want to see them stop coming? Quit giving them away free benefits. So anyway, I want you to get introduced to a couple of people I have followed for, I don't know, probably at least 4 or 5 years. Bill and Beth, the Still Report. They're just absolutely funny. I love them. And they get right to the point. They're Christians. They love America. They love our president. And so do I. And you know, even in my little town in Wyoming today, everybody was flying the American flag. Everybody. So, to you Democrats, we're going to put that nail in your coffin. We're going to fix the voting system, and then you guys can all go the fuck away. A warning to everybody in America right now. They're going to try to infiltrate your local offices, your city councils, your county commissioners, your state representatives. Watch for them. You can pick them out. Evil, evil, evil people. So let's get rolling.
On our reporting that there will be no further indictments in the Mueller probe. That means, in the end, no member of the Trump campaign was charged with conspiring with the Russian government to influence the election. Do you accept that no member of the Trump team engaged in that kind of criminal conspiracy with Russia?
Well, I don't know. First of all, we don't know what indictments are forthcoming from other investigations that have been spun out by the special prosecutor to the Southern District of New York or the Eastern District of Virginia.
Right, but his main mission was about Russia.
Yeah.
Do you think he would?
Yes.
Do you think Mueller would send that to other parts of the Justice
I
Department?
don't know. That's one of the things we will have to see when we read the report. And that's one of the reasons that I think it's so crucial that the entire report and the evidence underlying it be released to the public. Transparency is key here. I mean, obviously, we know there was some collusion. I mean, we know.
How do you know that?
Son and campaign manager were involved in a meeting with the Russians.
Nobody was charged in that.
They thought was to receive.
You fucking needle dick prick.
Information stolen by the Russians from the Democratic.
This guy needs to be
Committee.
hit upside the head with a fucking brick.
Part of the Russian government attempt to help Trump in the election. That's the way the email inviting him to the meeting put it.
But none of what you just said has risen to the level of criminal indictment by the special counsel.
No, it hasn't.
Well, then shut the fuck up.
But we know there was collusion.
No, you don't. Prove it.
No indictments. We don't know.
Put up or shut up, you little fuck.
We know what I just said. We know that the president pressured the FBI to go easy, to stop investigating Flynn and various other people. We know that he fired the FBI director
because of he fucking derelict of duties, you little cocksucker.
To take care of the Russian thing. In order to
They're all
stop the
disgraced.
investigation of various people.
They'll be lucky if they don't sit in
We
Gitmo
know
for the next 20
that
fucking
he
years.
concocted the lie about the purpose of that Russian meeting. We know that
You don't know shit.
he that a lot of his top associates have been indicted and convicted, and we know
Of lying to the
that,
FBI. Nothing to do with Russia, you little fuck.
Engaged in a relentless.
What's wrong with his eyebrow?
Against the FBI, very slow.
So on that note, Mr. Chairman, what you're describing is evidence to back up what you said before, that you believe the president has obstructed justice. You still believe that?
Well, there have been obstructions of justice, whether they're criminal.
It is a turning point. Today was historically bad for President Trump.
Today was a turning point.
A turning point. We're at a turning point here.
The beginning of the end for the Trump presidency.
The beginning of the end.
And breaking news.
We have another bombshell.
Mike Pence might have to assume the office of the presidency.
The call for impeachment.
Rumblings of the word impeachment.
Breaking news.
Another bombshell out of the White House.
I believe this is the beginning of the end.
I do too.
It's really the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
Maybe feeling the walls closing in on him.
All the walls closing in on him.
The walls closing in on him.
Breaking news, a new bombshell.
One astrologer says this means the beginning of the end for President Donald Trump.
The beginning of the end of the Trump presidency. Trump will resign.
Trump is going to resign.
Is this the tipping point? I know we've said it over and over.
You think this is a tipping point?
And over and over.
This is a tipping point.
And over and over. Breaking news, President Trump off the rails.
This is the beginning of the end today.
The beginning of the end.
It reminds me a lot of the last days of Nixon.
Breaking news tonight, new bombshell.
This is the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
The walls are closing in.
The walls closing in.
Do you believe that the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians in the 2016 campaign?
Yes.
Do you believe the president himself colluded with the Russians?
Yes, he colluded. I don't think that's a hard answer to the question at all.
Certainly say with confidence that there is significant evidence of collusion between the campaign and Russia.
It's beyond the shadow of a doubt to me that if there was not collusion, there was at least the effort to collude with a foreign power.
We saw cold, hard evidence of the Trump campaign, indeed the Trump family, eagerly intending to collude possibly with Russia, a hostile foreign power, to influence American elections. It's becoming clear we have suffered a desecration of our democracy not seen since Watergate.
Collusion with the Russians to undermine our democracy.
his two real lawyers left the building with their hair on fire and said, no, I don't want to represent him anymore. Even though he's the president, that's the job of a lifetime. You know why? Because he is out of control and totally guilty. He's going to get himself in a world of trouble. I'm going to get blamed for it, and I might even get in trouble. I got to go. That's how guilty Donald Trump is.
Early as 1984, Donald Trump's properties were being used to launder money for the Russian mafia.
Is that Russia didn't just attack our election. They did so with the knowledge of and support of the Trump campaign.
Well, I think they're getting closer to knowing that the truth's going to come out, that there was activities with the Trump campaign in Russia and releasing those hacks and guiding them to the states and the localities where they came from. Some of that was Jared Kushner's responsibilities. Some of it was Donald Jr. I think you're going to probably see indictments of both of those people.
I believe this was the greatest intelligence operation of our times, and it ended up putting a Russian asset in the White House.
That Donald Trump believes, for some reason, there may be evidence out there that would keep this probe barreling towards his family or towards the president himself.
If he's going to do it, he's going to do it now, any day now. If President Trump is going to fire Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller, he is going to do it when Congress is out of town over the Christmas holidays.
Do you believe anything about that dossier?
Oh, I think it should be taken a look at. I think they should really read it, understand it, analyze it, and determine what's fact, what may not be fact. We already know that the part about the coverage that they have on him with sex actions is supposed to be true. They've said that that's absolutely true.
Well, happy No Collusion Day, Tucker.
Happy No Collusion Day, that's a good point.
Days. Yeah, I mean, it's 675 days deep, tens of millions of dollars spent, and a team of people who in large part were biased against the president, and they could not produce evidence to even bring charges for indictment against people for the underlying allegation.
Well, that's a question. If you just step back, 101 contacts between the Trump people going into the presidency, 101 contacts with Russians. I've spent my life with pretty much getting around, and I haven't met many Russians, maybe one or two by accident. There's all these 100 Russians, and I got nothing against people of Russia, but how many contacts can you have without somebody saying, what's up? A senior DOJ official, there will be no further indictments. That means no charges against the president, his children, or his associates after all those meetings with the Russians.
We haven't ever had to reckon with the possibility that somebody has ascended to the presidency of the United States to serve the interests of another country rather than our own.
That they're all about lifting the sanctions because all of this involvement with oil and gas and those around him will have all these connections with.
You told the Washington Post last week that, quote, there's a smell of treason in the air when it comes to this investigation.
We are looking at the possibility that the President of the United States and those around him during an election campaign colluded with a hostile foreign power to undermine the basis of our democracy.
Donald Trump now sits at the threshold of impeachment.
There's outright treason. I mean, there is no question that what he is doing is giving aid and comfort to the enemy.
It does look like collusion. It does look like he's listening to Putin more than he is American intelligence. And frankly, I've never seen that before.
Vladimir Putin and his associates, somebody has something on Donald Trump.
We're hearing a new word, right? He said it was treason.
And while the president continues calling the Russia investigation a witch hunt, an op-ed in the Washington Post says it's not.
Obviously, most of the country thinks that Donald Trump is a dangerous menace. So you're either on that page or you are pro-dangerous menace.
But seriously, however, on the serious note, this is the biggest fraud that was ever perpetrated on the American people. This is the worst scandal that we have ever seen in this country. And I'm telling you right now, if Bill Barr is half the person that we hear he is, and we think he is,
and we hope he is, and he must be,
and we pray he is, we will be seeing some people in handcuffs, maybe not the Clintons, but I expect to see people like McCabe and people like, Comey and whatever, locked away because what they did, they tried to tear apart this republic.
They were treason.
From limb to limb.
That was outright treason.
It was beyond just going after Trump. They're deliberately trying to divide and conquer the United States. I mean,
yeah.
Exactly.
They were trying to destroy America.
We said this morning, and I was almost in tears saying it. We do not know how close we came to losing
our republic.
And we came very close to losing the one president who's saved it by the help of God.
Yep.
Because God Almighty has his hand on this president, and God Almighty has his hand on this country.
Yes, he does.
And God is holding us up and holding him up. And the only way that man is able to get through all the garbage that he has had to go through every single day with the rhinos and the Dems and the media and everything else coming at him is by the grace of God. And we need to remember to pray for him, pray for our country. And the fight's not over. But gosh, we won this battle.
Yes, we did.
They have thrown everything at that man except the kitchen sink, and they even threw that at him. They are not going to win this fight. They are not going to win this war. We are going to win this war. God is going to win this for America. We are not going down. I don't care what the Democrats do. I don't care what they throw at him or us. We are going to win this war. And I'm going to say this right here and right now. They are going to reap what they have sown. For they have sown to the wind, and they are going to reap the whirlwind. For they have reaped all of this disunity. They have reaped lie upon lie upon lie. They have smeared the name of good people. And they are going to pay the price for what they have done. Mark my words. Maybe not today, and maybe not tomorrow, but soon.
Congressman. And that is Georgia Congressman Doug Collins. He is the top Republican on the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, thanks for being here. Your reply to the chairman of your committee wanting to have the Attorney General testify.
Needle Dick Needler.
If my chairman wants to call the Attorney General, I'm sure the Attorney General would come to the Hill. That's part of what oversight on the Judiciary Committee is. The problem I have with my chairman right now is on several occasions today, it seems to be impugning the integrity of the Attorney General and implying that the Attorney General was not acting fairly in his own job. And that is an issue that has been probably the more concerning part of today, which should be good news for Americans, good news to know that there was no collusion, good news to know that there was no obstruction, and that their president, who has been working hard for them, is continuing to do that. That's the concerning part, but that's the good part also for America today.
You know, that is the top line of this report, as the Attorney General described from the special counsel's report. But there is a focus on this obstruction part, as is reported. That,
what a fucking joke that is.
No exoneration, according to the special counsel. What do you make of that and the Attorney General's
just another fucking rabbit hole
forward an obstruction of justice issue?
I make really nothing of it except what's in the letter itself. Let's let the letter speak for itself. Bill Barr, along with the Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, made that determination after Robert Mueller, who the Democrats, by the way, have been protecting and not talking about, and talking about how great of an investigator he was and a prosecutor he was. When he came to that conclusion, his own investigators found that they could not come to the reason of charging. They did not charge. They could not. They said it was an area where they were not willing to. So what they did is they didn't decline. What they said is they would have sent it on. They did not make a prosecutorial discretion or move. They said, we'll give it to the Attorney General for a look at. That's also good news in the sense that most of it, what the letter said, was also public. We will be seeing what went behind the obstruction issue. And I think that is a good thing for America. And I think it's also something that we allow to see that when we look at it, at the end of the day, this was following the law. Bill Barr has done everything by the book, and there's no reason to question that he would not continue to do so by the book.
The president on the tarmac from Florida said that this was a total exoneration. He also said he hopes that people will start looking into the other side, how all of this started, and he said it was an illegal takedown. There are people, Congressman, who wonder, when you had control, Republicans had control, why didn't that part of the investigation move forward? And is it going to go forward?
Sell out Brett Baer.
Well, Brett, it did move forward. We had an investigation between the Judiciary Committee and the Oversight Committee, of which, by the way, I've been releasing transcripts of those with Lisa Page and Peter Strzok and Bruce Orr. We want the American people to see how this came. That was the witch hunt. If there was a witch hunt in it, it was between that corrupt triumvirate of Page, Strzok, and McCabe that began this process. And they were there from the beginning in early 16 and following through. We're going to continue to press that case, but also at a certain point in time, we also are going to focus on the fact of also the other things that my friends across the aisle, the Democrats, have been saying. Think about what's been saying. Senator Blumenthal, Representative Swalwell, Waters, others who have been jumping on saying we have plenty of evidence of collusion. We know that collusion exists.
Where is
These
it?
statements now came crashing down in a very thorough investigation by Robert Mueller. My question is to Adam Schiff, who said just recently, we know that there's collusion. Indictments are probably coming. The collusion is there. Where's the apology, Mr. Schiff? Where's the
Yeah, put up or shut up, you little fucking cocksucker, huh?
apology saying there is no collusion? That's what I'd like to know.
On this front, the people who want to see that in part of the investigation go forward, they wonder why the FISA documents that originated this entire investigation haven't come out. Do you think they will?
I think those are questions that we're asking right now, and that Bill Barr has committed in his confirmation hearings to look at that FISA abuse. That was one.
And we're going to wait. We're going to drop it on you fucking water-carrying motherfuckers like Brett Baer and all your little dickheads, Juan Williams and shit, just before the election. We're not showing our cards.
The most enlightening parts for the confirmation hearings just a month or so ago with Bill Barr was he was willing, when asked by Senator Graham, would he be willing to look into the FISA abuse and willing to look into the issues that we had found in the House through our investigations? Would he be willing to look into it? And he said yes. And he confirmed that with me as well in a conversation that I've had. So we are looking forward to moving past this and making sure that the American people can trust their Department of Justice. Democrats, Republicans, and independents need to be aware that at the highest levels of the Department of Justice and the FBI, that justice is blind and doesn't wear a partisan tag.
Congressman Collins, we appreciate your time.
Brett, it's always good to be with you.
Well, thank you. I'm probably going to be the only person on your show who is going to be very critical of Mueller. I thought it was a cop-out for him to say that there was not enough evidence to indict, but it's not an exoneration.
On obstruction.
And we're going to put a report out on obstruction. We're going to put a report out which says on the one hand, on the other hand. It sounds like a law school exam. That's not the job of the prosecutor. The job of the prosecutor is to decide yes or no.
That's right.
Make a decision.
That's
and
right.
And then if you say yes, you indict. If you say no, you shut up. You don't go on and say, no, we're not going to indict, but let me tell you all the evidence that might have led us to indict. That's exactly what prosecutors shouldn't do. That's exactly what Comey did. How is this different than Comey? Comey says, I'm not going to indict Hillary Clinton, but let me tell you, it was a close case. She had all of this stuff, and she was extremely careless, and she did terrible things, but we're not going to indict her. That's not what prosecutors do. So I challenge defenders of defenders of Mueller to distinguish what Mueller did in relation to obstruction of justice to what Comey did in relation to
Hillary
email and why she wasn't indicted on that. I don't see a big difference.
Yeah, it's interesting because we knew as soon as we saw this in the letter where the special counsel said, I'm not exonerating, I'm not also convicting or indicting the president or suggesting he committed a crime on this issue of obstruction of justice. So then he left it to the attorney general, who then with the legal team and with Rod Rosenstein and with others came to the conclusion that they did not see a factual basis for finding the president had obstructed justice. Interesting that Barr said it wasn't completely premised upon the point that they didn't find an underlying crime of any kind of collusion or any kind of trouble with Russia,
right,
but that did bear on the decision. He also said it wasn't about the constitutional question of whether or not you can indict a sitting president, but he said, we looked at it and we thought that it was not worth pursuing. Now, Congressman Jerry Nadler, the chair of the House Judiciary, has tweeted quite a bit about this, and of course we knew that would be the point Democrats would jump to. He says, Special Counsel Mueller worked for 22 months to determine the extent to which President Trump obstructed justice. Attorney General Barr took 2 days to tell the American people that while the president's not exonerated, there will be no action by DOJ. I would argue the letter goes farther than that because it says we didn't find that he actually committed acts that were obstruction of justice. What do you make now of this back and forth that we're going to have over that point?
Well, that's exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
When Comey said not enough evidence to indict, but she was careless, every Republican seized on that. What Nadler said is exactly why
you don't have a job.
It shouldn't have said what it said. It should have made its decision. Maybe it should send a confidential letter to the Attorney General saying, look, it was a close case. We had people arguing one way, people arguing the other way. But you don't make that public. That's not what prosecutors do. Let's remember also, prosecutorial reports are inherently one-sided. They don't hear the defense case. They don't cross-examine witnesses. There's no opportunity to hear both sides of the story. So we shouldn't take all that seriously. Any conclusion that is negative about anybody that doesn't result in an indictment. If there's an indictment, at least you have a chance to challenge it and fight back in court. But if they say, oh, you were a bad boy, you almost obstructed justice, how do you fight against that? Where do you defend yourself against that kind of charge? That's why traditionally prosecutors are not allowed to say anything about people they decided not to indict. But Mueller just couldn't resist. He's been working all these months, spent all this money, so he has to tell the American public, look, I had some people who wanted to indict, some people who didn't want to indict. Here's this argument, here's that argument. I'm leaving it to the Attorney General. Democrats will take one thing out of it, Republicans will take another thing out of it. That's precisely what prosecutors should not do. Shame on Mueller for not having the guts to come to a decision one way or the other. That's what prosecutors are paid to do.
Okay, so